Alrighty. Peace to the family. Welcome to Yazar Podcast. I'm Yazar, of course. And I wanted to do this roster breakdown, particularly in WWE's women's side, because there's an influx of women in WWE. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not even touching NXT UK. So, once again, I'm just touching Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, and the new PC recruits. Because there's no reason why this women's division should be lacking at all, right? There's no reason why the women's division should be lacking, okay? So, we're going to start from the top. Just real quick, what's going on? What's going on, Top Heel Face? Okay, so, I want to say this. Prayers and condolences to Becky Lynch, as she has lost her father. Becky Lynch's father has passed away, so that's tragic news for Becky Lynch. And that is that. Hopefully she comes back to the ring down the line, healthy and ready to go. So let's look at the WWE woman here, right? We have Alexa Bliss. We have Becky Lynch, who's inactive. Asuka, Charlotte, Dana Brooke, Lacey Evans is inactive. Lana, Mandy Rose, Naomi, Nikki Cross, Peyton Royce, Mia Yim, Shayna Baszler, Bayley, Bianca Belair, Billie Kay, Liv Morgan, Mickie James, Natalya, Paige is inactive, Ruby Riott, Sasha Banks, Tamina. Okay, so I just named who is on Raw and SmackDown, right? That's about 14, 15 women I just named. Plus you have Chelsea Green, who's going to be on SmackDown. That's about 17, okay? So if you merge the women's divisions, you have an abundance of women, right? Now the concern with merging the women's division is the great politician, that is Charlotte Flair. Remember, Charlotte Flair was the reason why Shayna Baszler didn't win the Women's Royal Rumble last year, because she said she didn't want to lose to Shayna Baszler. Charlotte Flair is the same woman who went into WrestleMania and took the NXT Women's Championship from Rhea Ripley. Why? Does Charlotte Flair need any more championships? The answer is no. So, this is the roster breakdown here. What needs to happen is Charlotte Flair needs to retire. Honestly, she needs to retire. Because she's going to hurt the development of that women's division. There's no question about that. The politics backstage, it needs to stop. You know what I'm saying? You should be strictly looking at the work rate of the talent and how much effort they're putting into what they do. And Charlotte has not had a 5-star match since she's been back. Charlotte's actually been more regressing in the ring and more aggressive and reckless in the ring since she's been back. I remember vividly, it was just a couple months ago when Charlotte came back, she'd need Shayna Baszler right in the face. Reckless. It took Shayna Baszler right out the match. So, that's what needs to happen. That's first and foremost. Charlotte Flair needs to get the fuck out of here. Now, Becky, Bayley, and Sasha, they're willing to put people over, right? They've done it before. Matter of fact, Becky was trying to get Vince to, let her drop the title to Shayna at the WrestleMania. But Vince said nope. So, Vince already has a problem with Shayna Baszler. It's evident, it's clear. You know what I'm saying? We'll be lucky to see a Shayna Baszler championship run on the main roster outside of the tag team championships. Asuka, she's out with a concussion right now. What do you do with Asuka? A concussion is nothing to play with. You don't want to rush her back to the ring. You know what I'm saying? Do you strip Asuka of the championship? I say yes, you do strip Asuka of the championship. what happens? I see you have a tournament. The tournament and the finals, they culminate at WrestleMania. Charlotte wants to give back? This is how you give back. Rhea Ripley gets her win back after losing last year to Charlotte Flair. That's what needs to happen. So you do like an eight woman tournament for the Raw Women's Championship. And you can add some SmackDown women here. Here's the 8 women I'll do. Alexa Bliss, Mandy Rose, Naomi, Nikki Cross, Mia Yim, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Ruby Riott, and Bayley. Those were the 8 women I would do in the 8 woman tournament. Like I said, the finals for the championship will culminate at WrestleMania. The final 2 in the finals needs to be Charlotte versus Rhea Ripley. And Charlotte needs to emphatically lose to Rhea Ripley. And Rhea Ripley walks out of WrestleMania, your Raw Women's Champion. Booking the rest of the year. Coming out of WrestleMania, that means Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley are your champions for the respective brands, which it should be. If you want to be the first feud for Bianca coming out of WrestleMania, Carmella, she can squash Carmella. The first feud for Rhea Ripley can be Alexa Bliss. Squash Alexa Bliss. The following pay-per-views need to be people they can emphatically beat. I'm talking about Bianca and Rhea Ripley. Because they're not going to drop their respective titles, or we're not going to merge the divisions until the next WrestleMania, which is the WrestleMania in Dallas, and which will culminate into Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair in a unification match at WrestleMania. But here's some of the matches I will do, right? Like I said, the first feud for Bianca going out of WrestleMania can be Carmella. I have no problem with that. Elimination Chamber is not really a huge pay-per-view like they hype it up to be. So she can run through Carmella. Rhea Ripley can run through Alexa Bliss, right? Then we can have Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax in a 3-month feud, right? Then we can have Bianca Belair versus Liv Morgan. Bianca Belair versus Ruby Riott. Bianca Belair versus Natalya. The SummerSlam rematch and the final grudge match between Bayley and Bianca. Bayley finally gets her match, her 3rd match against Bianca for the championship. Bayley loses. Because Bayley is really bulletproof at this juncture. You can't bury Bianca. You can't bury Bayley or Sasha at this juncture. The big match for Rhea Ripley at SummerSlam needs to be Asuka. Give Asuka some rest. She's been one of the MVPs of the COVID era in WWE with Sasha Banks and Bayley. Asuka's been on mostly every show. Give Asuka a break. Rhea Ripley beats Asuka. Then Night of Champions. We can have Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville coming back in the championship pictures. It's been a while since Mandy Rose has gotten an opportunity at a singles title in WWE. The last, I think, match she had for a singles title was Fastlane, I think, of 2018 or 2017 against Asuka, when Asuka was SmackDown Women's Champion. And that's when Mandy Rose was very green in the ring. Let's see how much she improved. She'll get her opportunity against Rhea Ripley. Sonya Deville faces Bianca Belair at Night of Champions. I think that's going to be an excellent feud. Going into the Survivor Series, Bianca and Rhea Ripley. After Survivor Series, you can debut Toni Storm and Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai and Tony Storm can go to SmackDown. You put Mia Yim versus Rhea Ripley after Survivor Series. TLC. You do Shayna Baszler after hopefully she's been built up during the year. Shayna Baszler versus Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley wins. The TLC match for Bianca Belair. I will do Mickie James. Bianca Belair beats Legend and Mickie James. The Royal Rumble. You notice I haven't named Sasha Banks in getting her rematch. Yes, I'll have Sasha Banks wait at least 8 to 9 months to get a rematch. It'll be a rematch from WrestleMania. Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks. Rhea Ripley versus Asuka again. The Elimination Chamber. Rhea Ripley faces a returning Becky Lynch. Elimination Chamber. Bianca faces Toni Storm. And then WrestleMania. WrestleMania 38 in Dallas. Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair for the unification match for the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships. Now, who wins? It doesn't matter, because now you've created new stars, right? Bianca is gonna make new stars just by the people who she's in the ring with. You know what I'm saying? Same thing goes with Rhea Ripley. If you can have winning is not the only way to put somebody over, right? Putting somebody over is letting someone get the licks on you in the matchup. You know what I'm saying? Roman Reigns did it with Buddy Murphy. Did it go anywhere? No, it didn't, because that's Vince's fault. So that's what I would do when it comes to Raw and SmackDown women. Let's go to NXT. NXT has Aaliyah, Beth Phoenix, Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, Ember Moon, Indy Hartwell, Io Shirai, Sachi Blackheart, Toni Storm for now, Casey Catanzaro, Jessamine Duke, Kaden Carter, Marina Shafir, Mercedes Martinez, Reina Gonzalez, Tegan Knox, who's inactive right now, Xia Li, and the new PC signings, Taya Valkyrie. We know Taya Valkyrie from Impact Wrestling, a decorated champion. I don't even know why she's in training. What does she need to be trained for? She's made for television. She's a veteran in this business. So hopefully she comes and debuts on television already. We already seen Zoe Starks. We already seen Gigi Dolan, who is Priscilla Kelly. We've seen Cora Jade, who's Elena Black in the Indies. Avery Taylor, she was involved. We've seen her work in the Indies. Go check her out. We got the new international signing that WWE likes to do, especially Triple H. Safari, she's the 24-year-old coming out of Japan. She was winning in them Japanese promotions. We also have Angela Arnold, AQA, coming from Reality of Wrestling, Booker T's promotion. So I'm presuming this will be your future NXT Women's roster. Now, who beats Io for the Women's Championship? Is the question, right? For me, I said give it to the veteran right now, who is Mercedes Martinez. Then down the line, you give it to Xia Li, because what Xia Li is doing in NXT is brilliant. Now, who beat Xia Li? Who I would have beat Xia Li? You give it to Raquel Gonzalez, and she beats Xia Li down the line. Do you see what I'm doing here? Mercedes Martinez will be built up as unstoppable, right? She'll be defeated by Xia Li. Xia Li will be taken down by Raquel Gonzalez. Raquel will be taken down by an underdog babyface. And Indy Hartwell. Indy Hartwell will beat Raquel Gonzalez. Indy Hartwell will be defeated Indy Hartwell will be defeated by a debuting Taya Valkyrie. And that's what I would do for NXT for the rest of the year. Now, I named Beth Phoenix because I hope Beth Phoenix gets back in the ring. She's in great ring shape. She stays in shape. And I love to see Beth Phoenix mix it up with somebody's talent. You know what I'm saying? If Beth Phoenix ever comes out of retirement, I'd love for her to hold some gold. You know what I'm saying? Because she'll benefit any roster, SmackDown, Raw, or NXT. But look at look how many women there is on that roster. And that's just local, right? That's just SmackDown, Raw, and NXT. I listed at least 100 plus women. 100 plus women. And only we see the same 10, 15 every week. Where is Vanessa Bourne? Where is Santana Garrett? They were called up to the main roster, never used. I understand Vanessa Bourne was a Paul Heyman project, and that may be pissing off Bruce Pritchard because Bruce Pritchard doesn't like Paul Heyman. Santana Garrett most likely was a Paul Heyman project. But you're not going to use the girl? Pair her up with Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green and Santana Garrett are good friends. They were tagging up back in the day. You get what I'm saying? In the indies. So they know each other very well. You need people to vie for those WWE Women's Tag Team titles after you made NXT Women's Championships. As regards to all the other women in NXT, those are tag teams. Priscilla Kelly and Elena Black were in the Mae Young Classic. Not Mae Young Classic, I keep forgetting. Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic for the women. Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke, of course. Like I said, Dakota Kai most likely will be on the main roster. Indy Hartwell and Candice, they can win the tag team titles. If you want to put a championship around Candice's waist, that doesn't assault me and piss me off, give her the tag team titles. I think that's going to happen before Indy Hartwell gets in the main event. Of course, you got Shotzi and Amber Moon. Where Tegan Knox will fit in, you know what I'm saying? I think what's going to happen if Dakota Kai stays in NXT, of course Dakota Kai is going to end up being a babyface again. They're going to pair Tegan Knox and Dakota Kai up again, which I have no problem with. Team Kick was impressive to me in the short time they were together. Of course, Casey Catanzaro and Kaden Carter, I think they're an excellent underdog babyface tag team. They're perfect for tag team titles because I don't see either one of them being in the main event. We have the Robert Stone brand, Aaliyah and Jessi Kamea. Zoe Starks, she's impressive. The thing about Zoe Starks is I need a gimmick from her. She's excellent in the ring, but she needs a gimmick. Avery Taylor, she has a cool gimmick. Hopefully she gets to keep her gimmick. We know Taya Valkyrie's main event material, Safari most likely will be in the main event. Angela Arnold, I'm not sure what they're gonna position her as. She's still very young. Um, but that's what I would do. That's your roster breakdown for the year. You might as well do an all woman show. You know what I'm saying? You might as well. You know, I mean, look at the depth. I just said that's over 100 women signed to WWE. No excuse why you shouldn't have better shows from here on out. I just gave you what you need to do. Charlotte needs to move out the way for the betterment of the women's division. And people want to talk about Bayley and Sasha were hogging the spotlight all 2020. But what did Sasha and Bayley do? They were willing to put over a woman on Raw, SmackDown, and NXT after Charlotte killed all three brands. Yes, Charlotte single-handedly killed all three brands. Remember when she was NXT Women's Champion for 4 to 6 months and she was on Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, burying everybody because she didn't want to sell for nobody? That's how you bury somebody. Bury somebody is not only losing, but just not cooperating in matches. Charlotte Flair is probably the most ungrateful women's wrestler I've ever seen in my life. And then we got Peyton Royce coming out saying, oh, she deserves this, deserves that. Peyton Royce don't deserve a damn thing. Peyton Royce needs to probably pair back up with Billie Kay before both of them get released. Because with all these women that are signed and the women that move up, you have a lot of green women on the main roster. And Vince is going to see that and see women who's better than these green talent. There's some women who's going to be on the chopping block. Dana Brooke, Lana, the Iconics, they're in trouble. People are coming to take their spot. By way of Toni Storm, Rhea Ripley, Dakota Kai, and possibly down the line, maybe Xia Li. You know what I'm saying? 4 women who are better than the 4 I just mentioned. But it's all in the booking. How are they going to book Rhea Ripley? Because if they don't know how to book Rhea Ripley, how are they going to book Toni Storm? Now, Toni Storm has the benefit of going to most likely going to SmackDown, where Sasha Banks and Bayley are willing to put you over. Look what Sasha Banks and Bayley have done for Bianca. They're willing to put them over. We know Sasha's going to make the right decision in laying down for Bianca. But if Bianca loses at WrestleMania, it's not going to hurt Bianca at all. You know what I'm saying? But I do believe Bianca is going to walk out of WrestleMania, SmackDown Women's Champion. Like I said, Rhea Ripley and Bianca need to walk out of WrestleMania with the respective women's championships. Rhea Ripley needs to walk out Raw Women's Champion. No one wants to see Charlotte versus Asuka. I just gave you what you need to do. A tournament needs to happen. Start out at Fast Lane. The finals are at, WrestleMania. Give these women something to do. Get them hyped for WrestleMania. I'm hearing it's the lowest morale in WWE going into WrestleMania. People are usually hyped for WrestleMania. You didn't give these people their bonuses, their pay raises, so forth and so forth. And now you expect them to be happy, and look at the booking here. Ridiculous. But also something I'm predicting for the future when I was thinking about Becky Lynch, I'm like, she can really have a creative decision for the women down the line. I can see that. I can see after Becky Lynch is done with the in-ring, she's most likely going to be in a creative decision. We know Sasha already said she wants to be a producer. So, imagine that. She look at the quality matches that Sasha has and the brain she has for this business. Imagine what she's going to do when she's producing for other talent. When she's producing for Indy Hartwell. When she's producing for Toni Storm. So forth and so forth. Rhea Ripley. These are talent you need to build around. Shayna Baszler is not the future. She's the now, which means you need to get gold on her waist now. Yes, she's a 2-time WWE Women's Champion, but does that mean anything? Doesn't mean anything. The answer is no. because the division's not competitive, and now you just cut off NXT because Triple H cares about the future and says, "Yo, it's better. Isn't it better to give it to an NXT tag team?" And all intents and purposes, as much as I dislike Nia Jax, she needs to be in the main event. She needs to be another face in the main event. No, she's not gonna win the title, but she can be in the main event. Shayna definitely needs to be in the main event. She's proven herself worthy of that. Are you not watching what she did in NXT? Her match with Becky, it was short, of course. Now we know because of pregnancy, but Shayna Baszler is really good. She's really good. You see glimpses in there in the tag team matches she has, especially when she had the tag team match with Sasha and Bayley. You know, I mean, she's ready. Are you gonna give it to them? Just give them the opportunity and let them go from there. Liv Morgan, great. Ruby Riott, underrated in the ring. Liv Morgan improving. That's what you need to see. You need to see the improvement. I love me some Mandy Rose, by the way. I think her and Sonya had one of the best women's feuds we've seen in a long time. And for them to have a big SummerSlam match like that and you not follow up with Mandy Rose, asinine for me. You put her in another tag team with Dana Brooke. I mean, does the tag team fit somewhat, but it's holding Mandy back. That's why Mandy was out on reports saying she was kind of afraid to be tagging up with Dana Brooke. So, that's the roster breakdown for the women and what you do with them. Thank you for listening. This is Pro Wrestling Paradise. Subscribe to Pro Wrestling Paradise YouTube channel. Once again, subscribe to Pro Wrestling Paradise YouTube channel. We'll do we re-upload the podcast that we have here on the Facebook onto the YouTube, and don't miss out on the content. Once again, I'm Yazar. Thank you. Peace.